I've always loved art. My grandmother taught me how to paint when I was younger. I loved it at school. But when I left school, I didn't want to do uni yet, much to my parents' dismay. My dad even applied on my behalf to Elam, much to my horror when I saw the application. Because they were so eager for me to do something, and I decided I want to kind of get out there, explore the world, and figure out what was right for me at that time. And so I ended up going to London and finding the world of construction just by chance. And I decided I wanted to be a quantity surveyor, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is, that's a person who financially manages construction projects. So it couldn't be further from what we do in this space. And in my 20s, I kind of became really into my career. And so this is kind of where I start the story here, is that I became very driven by promotions and money and all the things that really, in essence, don't fill you up. And I think I got stuck in a real, stuck in a rut without realizing it. And in 2016, I had a major head injury playing ultimate frisbee of all things with my colleagues, and I was really unwell. I couldn't speak. I could barely stand up. I had 3 months recovering and a lot of time lying down just thinking. And it's amazing what comes to you when you can't escape by doing things and being busy. And it was just a real, it completely changed the direction of my life. I realized I'd lost my creative side and the things that really lit me up, and through that process of coming back and rehabbing, I found painting again. And so that's really, I guess, where this kind of, I call it my second life starts. It feels like I kind of started again and everything changed massively. And so yeah, I started creating these big geometric pieces. One that you see there is a little bit of an evolution of what I started with, but and that's when I started, the pieces I started bringing to John to photograph. And I was just loving it. I became hooked, and every time I came home from work, I'd just be straight into my bedroom. I was like painting on my bed. I was flatting at the time. And I'd come home and I'd paint on my bed and do anything I had to kind of get these works going. And so it was like a ball rolling down a hill. And I was like, oh, well, I might just put on a show and see what happens, and just invite everyone to a space that they can just come and hear the story of what, how this has all come together, appreciate and enjoy the art, have a nice glass of wine. And so I just invited everybody I knew. I had about 150 people turn up on the night, and sold $20,000 worth of work in a night. And it was a real, I suddenly just went, this is potentially possible here to make this a career for myself if I want to do this now. And when I was younger, I always said to myself, one day I will do this. And it was kind of that moment. It was that thing where I was like, this is the moment. This is when it starts. So yeah, I kind of took a leap of faith, and as some of you saw, my little girl Maya is 5 months old, and my other daughter Cora is 4. So during this time, I have also been growing a family. So that's when I went back from maternity leave to my old job, I just realised at that point it was now or never to take the moment to enjoy motherhood and then start the art thing a little bit more seriously. So I took that moment in 2021 to go, right, I'm going to fully leave work, much to the confusion of so many. I'd really built an amazing career at Becca where I worked. Some of you may have heard of it, and they were all a bit like, why on earth would you leave now? I'd just been made director the year before, and they were very confused. But for me, it was like, that's all great, you get the title, you get the money, but where's the love and where's the passion? And so that combined with the love of being a mother, perfect timing. And so from 2021, it's really just been, it's been all about my creative entrepreneurial journey, and I've been now combining what I do creatively with this kind of thing. So talking to people like you and sharing my experiences since 2016 when I started to explore all this, of the trial and error and frustration a lot of the time of going, why isn't it easier to figure out how to do this? Why is there not more people and artists helping or sharing what they do to get success? And so I kind of combined all the experience I had in my old job. I was a business leader and a mentor, and I loved that side of my job. Nothing made me happier than kind of lifting up the people around me. And so for me, when I left, I was like, yes, I want to do my art, but yes, I also want to keep lifting the people up around me. And that's what I get real joy out of as well. So that's me here in a nutshell, and like I say, why I am here. I think it's just important to talk about the why, because that's the driver, and that's the reason why we do what we do. So today we're talking about an online business, and I just thought I'd give you, I'm not going to throw stats at you, and you're not going to see anything like this after this, but I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an insight as to why should you have an online business, why should you bother? And I think it's just an absolute must for a few reasons. And I've just given you a highlight here of what I took from Shopify the other day of what people spend online. And trillions of dollars is very hard to even comprehend, right? But it's growing every year. We're all kind of hearing about recession, and things are tough for a lot of us at the moment, but people are still buying, and they keep buying, and it keeps growing. So the ability for us to make money online only continues, and the opportunity only widens as time goes by. So that's just a really important thing to keep in mind, like, why is my effort worth this? So on average now, I read something, when I Googled it, people are spending, and in America it's 4 hours, 37 minutes every day on their phones. Might be a bit less here, might be a little bit more, but on average, say 4 hours. It's a huge amount of time. People are on their phones. I think it frightened me when I read that, because I was like, how long am I on my phone for? You start to go, how much of my life am I on here? But people are there, and an online business gives you a chance to be found by those people. I think the really key thing is, if you have your own business that's built around your online customers, and even your, the customers you see at events, this kind of encompasses both. If you start to build your own database, you own it. It's yours. So what I mean by that is, your Facebook followers, Facebook can disappear tomorrow and all of your followers go with it. It's not yours or mine to own. So it's a very, it's not known, it's not certain. So I've seen it happen to a few artists recently where their Instagram gets hacked and it's gone, and it's heartbreaking. And so this is a really good reason why building a database in your control is so important. And you also get the ability to be seen and heard from by your followers a lot more than, if say you're just solely working with a gallery or events, if somebody buys from you, you may not be knowing who that person is. So it's very hard for you to actually get in touch and understand how you can connect and continue the relationship. And so that relationship building is really important. We'll talk a bit about that soon. And you can make offers for anything you want. So you might create things that aren't necessarily wanted by an event, the New Zealand Art Show or a gallery. I've done calendars and all sorts of gifts that have been really great for my business, but it's not necessarily something that you will be able to sell outside of that space. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility. And like I said at the end, it's just, you can build a business your own way. So there's no rules. You can do whatever you want. And this is the thing I always emphasize with whoever I work with. I think art traditionally, and I think a lot of people struggle in the traditional sense of what I'm talking about here, because we grow up thinking, to be an artist, you have to be in these, galleries, and the only way you can make money is if you're in there. And it's very limiting. And I'm kind of all about, well, how do you want to make it, and how do you want to be creative about building your business, and you can do it that way. So that, in essence, are the main reasons why I think this is such an important thing to do. And just to kind of summarize why I think some artists are struggling versus some are thriving, I think we can get it in our head that selling is kind of a sleazy, horrible feeling, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm going to talk a bit about that today, about the process and changing that mindset, because I used to hate it, absolutely hate it. I would put one post up about my work and be like, I've got a print, you can buy it. And then be like, no one wanted it. Okay, that's a failure. I'm moving on. I'm not doing anything else because that was horrible and I don't want to do it again. And so a lot of us are either there now or have started there. And so I just want to be clear that we all start in that space. It's about being consistent with your marketing efforts and really authentic. So I'm all about being who you are. Like, don't try and fit into the box of what the art world expects or what you think they expect. It's about being who you are, because that actually will sell your art better. People don't buy things, they buy feelings. So it's about conveying stories about who you are and letting them connect. And it's about relationships. So successful artists have what I was talking about before, an amazing array of relationships that they build over years, and they become their super fans and they buy over and over again. And yeah, so just if you're struggling to sell online, and maybe you are or you're not tried this yet, but they're just not connecting yet with what you're doing. So something's perhaps missing there around the level of openness or feeling that they get when they read what you're posting. You might not be seen enough. I think it's around 5% now of social media posts will be seen by your audience. That's how much you have to post. So if you're posting about a piece, if you're not posting about it 10 to 20 times, your audience aren't necessarily seeing it at all. So that's a real hard one to get your head around, but that's kind of the reality of it. If you don't have a clear offer, this is an interesting one, but I think, again, I used to be like this, and I think this is part of being a creative. But we get, as artists, quite distracted of, I want to make this now and I'm going to share this. And next week I'm making this now and I'll share that. And this week I'm making this. And we're always inspired, right? So we're constantly, at times, darting around a bit. And if our audience aren't understanding exactly what you're doing and perhaps what they can buy as a focus, it's very hard for them to understand or get to a point of going, I really want that and I'm going to be on it when it comes out or is available. And that's the kind of mindset you want to be creating as you start to put this content out there. And the last thing is, you might not believe in what you're doing. I know this might sound airy-fairy, but there is an energetic block that we can all create if we just don't believe it. You know, it's kind of like somebody walks into a room like this and you might have a piece up here, and if they say, oh, I love this piece, and you're kind of like, yeah, it's not my best. You know, I've done better. Well, you've put them off immediately. They don't want it anymore. And so it's like the power of that language and that belief that will actually be the defining factor around somebody goes, this person is trustworthy, I like what they do, they really love what they do, it's contagious, I want it. So this is the biggest piece, I think, personally, the personal development side of any business, and believing what you're doing and really standing by it and working on that self-worth, and that is just foundational. So we'll talk about lots of things today, but I'll always talk about this piece as being the absolute most important thing. Nothing else happens if we just don't believe it should. So, yeah, just to summarise, how you see money will be a big factor. What you're willing to receive. If we're constantly thinking money's hard to come by, we're probably going to find it hard to come by. You know, it's that feeling of, is there lots of opportunity in the world? Is there lots of abundance? Yes, I will receive that. If money's hard to come by, nobody has any, you probably aren't going to get it. So again, it's that whole mindset part that's very, very important. And also just, I think another block is a time factor. So I want to talk to you today, and I won't just be talking to you like this the whole time, by the way. I want this to be interactive, so you don't get completely bored of just hearing my voice. But I want to kind of talk about the needle moving activities. And when I say needle moving, it's like, if you kind of think about a compass and you're kind of moving 1 degree every kind of year, you know, the exponential line of that over time, if you keep moving along, becomes kind of like this. And so that's why I mean needle moving. What things do I do every week or every month that's actually going to make the difference? Because I think we can get really caught up in going, oh, I should be creating this and that and everything. It becomes very overwhelming in the sense of marketing, and then we don't do anything at all. So what I really wanted today is to go through, I guess, the key elements of an online business, and then pull out some stuff that you can take away and actually implement today or tomorrow or in the next month, so you feel like you've actually got something out of it and perhaps can start to make little bits of progress on there. But I've got a few journaling prompts throughout that if you want to use this afterwards, you can use and actually just maybe write down some of the stuff that's coming to you, because it forms like a really good reflection moment and might make you take action around, maybe I need to actually write down every day what the negative thoughts are coming into my head to kind of kick that as soon as I get into the day. I've just written here, before we get into the 6 key elements, and in a moment, I just wanted to kind of summarize as well kind of the process of what needs to happen for somebody to buy from us. I think, again, going back to that example of I said before about the way I used to post one thing and then expect all of a sudden to get a flurry of orders, which I honestly did. I thought because I had a social media account, if I posted once, oh, well, everyone's going to buy from me because it's just my art's great and everyone's seeing it and that's just how it should be. And so that was like a real moment of going, oh, it's going to take a lot more effort than this. And what I realized is it's like a real process of people going, I like what you do, I trust what you're doing. In other words, you're legitimate, you're passionate, you're creating beautiful things, and others are also buying from you, and you're creating an opportunity for them actually to say yes to purchase something. The amount of people that are posting on social media but not actually saying, would you like to buy it? It's amazing because we're so worried about people saying no. So we're constantly just showing, but we're never actually giving people a chance to go, yeah, I want to purchase. This is the link, buy it now. And again, just really hitting home that mindset stuff. The 3 things that have to happen for you to allow someone to buy from you is that belief, your openness to receive that money, that energetic exchange, and authenticity. Are you being your true self? Like that honestly is the biggest thing that I've discovered in the last 7 years is the more I'm myself, the more I just don't, I kind of beat back the what will people think of me, the better everything goes. I feel better about myself, my business grows, you know, and in the end it's only our own critic in our heads that are kind of creating that block. So like I say, after this, I've created a few kind of slides like this that might be nice for you to, you know, in essence this one, it might be something you print out and just put on your wall as like reminders of kind of, I really like to have visuals around my studio of like, what am I trying to achieve here? What's my vision? What's the stuff I've got to reflect on daily? So I thought this could be nice for you. Yeah, these things, I know myself, and I really relate to what you're saying there, especially with young kids, and I'm being a bit easy on myself at the moment. I've got a 5-month-old, so you got to realize sleep is just not going to happen well for a while. But in a normal sense of my day-to-day, like when I meditate or get up with that or exercise in the morning or stretch my body, it just opens something else. So I do really recommend, it might be a cup of tea where you write some notes. It doesn't have to be long and extensive, but it really can set yourself up really well for the day to create focus and a nice sense of calm in this busy world. Okay, so I'm gonna the way I thought we'd get into kind of, I guess, the nitty gritty of things, I've tried to break this down in a way. I've been working with artists for a couple of years now, and I've been just reflecting on what they need and what they say, and also what's worked for me and what I see other artists doing. I'm a real researcher. I'm constantly looking at what other artists are doing to succeed, and so I really delve into that and try and pull that whole picture together around what is the process, what are the things they're doing, and I'm doing as well. So I've got 6 things here, and this is a huge topic, right? You're not going to walk out of here and go, I know everything how to build this business and it's going to happen in a week. No one can promise you that. But this is going to give you kind of an overview and maybe some key things around the actions you kind of want to be taking depending on where you're at in your journey. So you're not going to come and take action on all of these things. It just won't be smart. But you might start to take a piece of this and go, actually, this is kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm going to start to try and do something around it. So the first one being an active social media account. So does everyone here have social media accounts set up for their art? And it's okay if you don't, because this is super interesting for me to kind of, I'm assuming some don't, but most do, some don't. Okay, that's good. So essentially setting up a foundational social media to spread the word and focusing on 1 to 2 tools to keep focused. There's a lot of distraction right now. You can do TikTok, you can do Threads, you can do all these things, and I actually think it's kind of detrimental at times, because if you learn to nail Facebook or really know how to work Instagram, the focus you put on just 1 or 2 or both, that's going to pay you back much better than just trying to spread yourself across all of these platforms without really knowing what's going on with your content. So that's the first bit. growing an email list. This is I caught onto this very late, and it's just this is the gold with an online business. And anyone who's doing well in an online business has one of these, and they're using it really, really well. We'll talk about that shortly. Consistent marketing activity. So they're getting out there all the time. And when I say all the time, I think this doesn't mean you have to be perfect every day and seen every day, but I think if you can consistently show up 3 days a week, and even, some weeks you might not at all, if you're sick or things are going on, but it's about the most of the time. That's vital. It's about having clear and diverse offers. So like I said earlier, a lot of artists won't convert because it's just not obvious of how people can buy from you. And people are very in the moment now. Like, patience levels are at an all-time low. I mean, I know for me, like, you want to be able to go a link. Where is it? Where do I buy it? It's like 5 minutes have passed. It's confusing. I've forgotten about it now. I'm past that point. And it's a lot of people are in that mindset now. So that's really important. And I'll talk a little bit about diversity of offers, both in price point and the things that you're offering, and that will look different for everybody, but it's an important thing to consider. Having a sales strategy, and this sounds very like, oh gosh, I'm an artist, I have no interest in even, like, why am I even here? I don't want to do anything like this. But most artists just do not ever get rewarded for the efforts because they've not thought about how on earth they're going to sell it at the end of the day. So they might create this beautiful collection or 3 pieces of art, and they're like, this is some of the best stuff I've ever done. And it sits under the bed and nothing's done with it to actually sell it. So I'll talk a little bit about how you can start to consider how you plan to actually try and get a purchase, try and get a buyer. And repeat buyers. In the end, it's about finding ways to get the people who bought from you once to ultimately buy from you 7 times. So businesses in any field that are doing well, John will tell you that he does well because we all keep coming back to him. It's the repeat. It's a bit different if you're creating very expensive works of art, but that's where the diversity of offers comes in. Somebody might buy a print and then they're like, I love your print. I'm going to commission you to do a painting because I'm a mega fan now. And you might do a calendar, and of course they're going to buy 5 for their friends because they love your art. So it's that evolution of, the super fan that you want to create. And throughout all of it, like I said before, is your mindset, it's your vision, it's how you're putting goals together. If you're not doing anything to help your mind and really believe in this process, it's just none of it will work. I've had months where I'm like, everything's come together and I feel like I've barely worked, and I've had really big sales months. And I'm like, God, I feel like I really didn't do much at all, but I was really specific and I was feeling really good and I was willing to receive what was coming. And then I've had other months where I'm just trying to force it. I'm like, why is no one buying from me? And you feel like you're forcing everything, and it's this lull, and you're like, why is this not working? And upon reflection, when you break free out of that, you were creating something kind of within yourself. And again, that might be a bit of a strange concept, but I absolutely believe in this. So we'll just go through each one. I'm just going to talk about kind of the key things involved in each part, and some actions you can take to actually, or need to take to make that happen, and then maybe have a bit of a conversation, sharing if any of you have tried it or done it or have questions, then we can kind of touch on those on each one. Any questions so far? Okay. All right, so social media, essentially you're setting up marketing foundations. So you're setting up a base or a place for people to see you online. And this is obviously important for, if you're going to be online, you've got to be on social media. It's just how it is. And I hated social media for many years, and the more I've learnt about it and understood it, the less I hate it. It's like anything. I think the thing you are avoiding most is the thing where you're going to get the most progress, and you just need to kind of spend a bit of time to learn it. Now, I'm still not an expert in Facebook or Instagram, but I do understand them pretty well. And I understand how to get answers. And I think that is what I want to emphasize through all of this, is it's just about committing to taking some time to get good at something. And this will be applicable to anything you're doing. But if you want to be selling your art, you've got to try and make sure that the things you need and your foundational tools, that you know how to use them. And yeah, take time to really think about your pricing. And don't fear making money. Like, when you start to think, well, actually, I deserve that and I am worth that, you start to allow that money to come to you. And that's, you know, like I said earlier, the mindset piece is really big in this. This is a really big topic again, and getting into the idea of how to come up with a really good strategy and sell is, again, yeah, obviously bigger than just the one slide. But does this kind of give everybody a little bit of a feel of the thoughts that you kind of want to be having around this stuff? Sierra Roberts is really good at this. So she has a little, I don't know if any of you know her, she's a really awesome New Zealand artist, but she'll have a series of 4 that she'll tell people are coming, and you'll see them appearing on her feed progressively for a few weeks before that, and then they'll be available. And she's often selling most of her editions very fast. She's really good at it. So, and she's not doing that much, you know, like she's not, what's the word? It's definitely not saturating. You don't feel saturated by it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, I saw that last week, and oh yeah, she's doing prints. I saw that this week. But she's just showing some of the progress of the painting and then showing you the print being available. And then the next time she'll share the other one, and then the collection together. And so she's talking about the collection coming over and over again, so it's really on your brain. But it's done well. I think it's done in a way that you could kind of go, oh, I could do that, you know, without feeling too weird about it. But I do think it's a good idea to do a few at once and create a little bit of anticipation. Yeah. Anticipation, and like, again, just going back to that urgency factor, if and this is the big thing of what I've learned over the years, is if you have like, you're just working on stuff and you kind of just put things up on your website and you're like, oh, it's available now, and people are like, that's nice, and you've said it once, and you've kind of, that one post that's got the piece and it's available now is the only thing that person has to work on, in the sense of getting excited about or having any anticipation about or wanting to buy. And so it just falls quite flat, and they go, I like it, I might look at it later. And so it's that long buy becomes that kind of, I saw it again, I still like it, I'll think about it in a few more months. So you kind of lose that impact of like, yeah, the build. Any other questions? Cool. Oh yeah, and there's another, again, I tried to put one on each one. These are, again, very short little, I think they're no more than 20 minutes, but there's just a little mini training, especially if you're starting this process of just how to think about how you can even just sell to the people you know without being like writing them email going, do you want to buy my art? You know, doing it in a way that feels good, doing it in a way that's actually authentic. I'm all about authenticity in the sense, and I use that word a lot because I think you can get really lost in the sales strategies and all the stuff that's very not, none of this feels creative to artists, and it feels very much like the stuff no one wants to do. But I think if you can add the creativity around how you're doing it and the authenticity factor, it feels much more enjoyable once you start to learn how to do it. And I, like I say, I actually enjoy a lot of it now. And then the last piece is creating repeat buyers. And really this is just probably encompassing a lot of what we've covered in a sense. But this really is that 6th piece of a sustainable business, a business where people are consistently able to earn money and know that they can create something and sell it. That's a really nice place to get to, when you know you can create something and someone will buy it. That's a good feeling to have, and a lot of what these other things we've talked about creates is that feeling. And so it's about also thinking about the first purchase as being the beginning of your relationship. So a lot of the time we go, oh, this person's been talking to us and they finally bought, oh great. That's great, that's done now. But actually, if you start to see that moment as the first of many of those moments, that's when you really start to focus on what matters, which is their experience. So how did they feel when they received the print and the painting, and writing the handwritten note to express your thanks, and you know, all those little things create the experience that make them go, oh, this was just so great and I'm so thrilled to get it, and I'm going to buy everything else that you put out there because I'm now a super fan. So again, that's the thing we're trying to we're trying to create long term, and just seeing them as collectors who, yeah, like I say, could buy everything you put out there. And to do that, it's just about really what we've talked about, having those tools in place to keep reconnecting and keep in touch. So keeping front of mind, essentially, is what this is about. You're giving them early access, so that's why I really like to give people my email list early access. So as my list grows and I start to do more paintings, I have visions of having a specific collector list, so people who have only bought paintings, and they will get the first access. In other words, it's not just my whole email list, but it's the people who have actually become a collector already. And so as you grow, you can think about those things of going, I heard a great podcast where someone was saying they create a personalized video for every collector. So they are selling big collections of work for big money, and they will literally put an email going, I'm going to make this up, hey Tracy, how are you? Hope you had a wonderful holiday. I know you went to Tahiti, saw the photos, wonderful. Like, they're doing that. And then they're like, I wanted to give you the first chance as one of my really special collectors to see my new works that are coming out, and you are going to get the first chance to buy if one of these, you know, you fall in love with one of these. And they create these very individual videos that takes time, but these people report that their collectors, they just want them. So they end up in these great positions where, okay, you might make a 10-minute video, but you might have made a $5,000 or $10,000 sale from it. So it's that relationship, and of course there's the intention of wanting people to buy from you, but you have to put this stuff out there to go, they might not, and that's okay. I still value them, and I want them to feel that. So it's having that balance of how you do these things. So yeah, early access is a really great way to get people to sign up to your email list and, you know, feel kind of like they've got a special in within your business. And I like to have the 10% off on my website. And again, a lot of artists don't like doing that. You might do $20 off your purchase. You could do anything like that. But I really like to have an incentive, because once someone buys and has the experience, they're more likely to buy again. So really just enticing people to have that first purchase, or at least join your email list and really think about that. That lifetime value of that 10% could be, you won't even think about it. So yeah, that's why I really encourage to have some kind of incentive. And yeah, making their purchasing experience memorable, so how you might tailor their package or their experience in some way. And yeah, so taking action is, like I said to you, I've made a note at the top there. If you are, don't worry about this too much if you're not in the email marketing space yet, but like I said before, you can set up specific tags. So again, I don't want to get too much into the details, but you can have a list of email subscribers, and then you can put tags to those people, so you can make sure that you can separate them as collectors of your art. Some might have bought gifts, some might have bought art, some might have bought prints, and you can actually add tags to separate those lists. And so that's what I mean, the power of that down the line. If you just want to talk to your art collectors, your original collectors, you can do that by separating them in those spaces and talking to them directly. So when you create your sales plan for new collections or products, you can make sure that they know that they're going to get an email early. So I send out an email 48 hours often before they go on social media, and they get a link that only they have to purchase. So my website is down for anybody else. They get the password. So again, that's creating a sense of, oh, only I have the password. You know, I've got the chance first, and that's the urgency factor. Create the incentive if you haven't already created the form to get people joining your list. Encourage people on your social media to join your list by reminding them, and take the time to personalize your packages, because that's the first step of your relationship. That could be many, many purchases in the future. So that's, they're my key tips in relation to how you can kind of keep that repeat sustainability in your business. Any thoughts on that?
So, next question.
Yeah.
How do you get people from your social media, like Facebook or Instagram, to join your list?
Yeah. So I'm basically just writing it in the copy. So in another reason I love Facebook differently to Instagram is because in the actual text you can put a live link. So I can say, these works are being released in 3 weeks. Make sure you're on my email list. You'll get first access. You can join here, and then they can click directly on that link.
You still need to have a separate landing page. You can't do it.
Separate landing page, yeah. Although, in saying that, I don't want to, no, that has changed recently, but that's another whole topic. Facebook forms do exist now. Yes. I'm exploring that world. Yes. It's ever evolving, but you can do that now. You have a Facebook form, but it's got to be attached to an email marketing, like a database to go into. So you still need the marketing platform.